I didn't lose my marriage at Christmas dinner. I lost it the moment I realized I was the only person at the table who didn't know I was about to be replaced. The chair, the man sitting in it, and the way my wife told me to move. That's when I understood something terrifyingly clear. This wasn't an accident. This was a test. Before we begin, do me a favor. If you enjoy intense, real-life stories about dignity, betrayal, and self-respect, hit subscribe, tap like, and leave a comment. It tells me you're out there, and it helps this story reach someone who might need to hear it. Now, let me take you back to that night. Christmas dinner was supposed to be quiet, warm, predictable, safe. The kind of evening where nothing big happens, just familiar food, familiar faces, familiar tension politely ignored for the sake of tradition. I woke up early that morning and cleaned the house top to bottom. The house I paid for, the house I maintained, the house I genuinely believed was home. I polished the dining table until I could see my reflection in it. Uncorked a bottle of red and let it breathe. Lined up the glasses just right, each one evenly spaced, exactly how Laura liked it. I remember thinking, if nothing else, tonight will be peaceful. Laura had been off all week. Whispered phone calls, smiles that didn't reach her eyes. That distracted energy people get when they're carrying a secret and pretending it doesn't weigh anything. But after 8 years together, I trusted her. That was my first mistake. I walked into the dining room, carrying the wine, and I froze, because a man was sitting at the head of the table. My seat. Not just any man. Brian, Laura's ex, Kayla's biological father. The man who disappeared years ago. The ghost we didn't talk about. He was relaxed, leaning back like he belonged there. One arm draped casually over the armrest of my chair. Before my brain could catch up, Laura grabbed my arm and shoved me backward into the doorframe. "Move," she snapped. "That seat's for Brian. He's Kayla's real father." Her words landed harder than the shove. Across the table, her mother Sharon smiled. Slow, smug, satisfied, like this was theater, and she had front row seats. Kayla, my stepdaughter, 16 years old, stared down at her plate. Silent. Not a word. Not a glance. I had raised that girl since she was 8. Paid for her private school. Her braces. Her phone. Her future. I was there for every recital. Every late-night homework meltdown. Every moment Brian wasn't. And now he was sitting in my place. "Excuse me?" I said. My voice was steady but cold. Brian smirked and leaned back even further. "Relax, man," he said. "It's family time." Laura didn't even look at me. She pointed to a folding chair shoved into the corner of the room. "You can sit there," she said. "This is important for Kayla." A folding chair. In the corner. In the house I paid for. I looked at Kayla. "Is this what you want?" She didn't answer. Didn't look up. Didn't defend me. I tried again. "Kayla." That's when Laura exploded. "If you don't like it," she snapped, "then leave. No one is forcing you to stay." Sharon clapped. Actually clapped. That's when it clicked. This wasn't spontaneous. This wasn't awkward miscommunication. This was planned. They weren't surprised by my reaction. They were waiting for it. Waiting for me to argue. To beg. To swallow the humiliation just to keep my place. I didn't. I calmly set the wine glasses down. One by one. Picked up my jacket. Grabbed my keys. "Where are you going?" Laura asked. Her voice cracked just a little. I didn't answer. I walked out into the cold December night. Closed the door behind me. Not hard. Not dramatic. Just final. I got into my car. My phone buzzed. Then buzzed again. And again. I didn't look. Because somewhere between that folding chair and the shove into the wall, something inside me went quiet. Not angry. Not broken. Clear. And for the first time in 8 years, I realized something that would change everything. If I wasn't family to them, then I owed them nothing that I didn't drive away angry. That surprised me. I drove away focused, like something heavy had finally slid off my shoulders and I could breathe for the first time in years. Streetlights blurred past until I pulled into the parking lot of an all-night diner a few miles away. I didn't go inside. I just sat there, engine running, dashboard glowing, windshield fogging slightly from my breath. I opened my phone, and that's when reality clicked into place. Everything in my life was tied to my name. Not partly, not mostly, completely. I opened my notes app and started a list. bank accounts, credit cards, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, services, bills. 43 items by the time I finished. Seeing it all laid out didn't scare me. It grounded me. I opened my banking app first. The joint account Laura and I shared showed just over $78,000. Money I earned, money I deposited, money I managed. 2 taps. Transferred into a new account under my name only. Confirmation received. Clean, legal, immediate. Next, the credit cards. 3 of them, all issued to me. I froze each one. The screen confirmed it with a polite little check mark, like it had no idea what that action would mean. Car insurance next. The policy covering the SUV Laura drove? Canceled. Effective immediately. Finding coverage on a holiday weekend would be her problem, not mine. Phone plan, 4 lines. I suspended hers. Insurance. Set to cut off at midnight. Enough time to panic. Not enough time to fix it. Wi-Fi password changed. Streaming services canceled. Home security access revoked. Gym membership terminated. Each action was quiet. No shouting. No drama. Just taps and confirmations. My phone buzzed nonstop. I didn't read a single message. I didn't need to. I knew the progression. Confusion. Irritation. Fear. By the time I finished 38 of the 43 items, my hands finally stopped shaking that I drove to my brother Mark's house just before midnight. He opened the door, took one look at my face, and stepped aside without a word. "Guest room's yours," he said, handing me a beer. "No questions tonight." That kindness almost broke me more than the dinner had. I turned my phone off before I went to sleep. When I powered it back on early the next morning, 35 missed calls. I didn't listen to the voicemails. Didn't read the texts. Not yet. I made coffee. Opened my notes again. Same list. Same order. This time, I started calling. First was a family law attorney I'd researched months earlier and hoped I'd never need. I left a detailed message and asked for an emergency consultation. Then I documented everything from the night before. Every word. Every shove. Every witness. Facts. Lawyers love facts. Mid-morning, I turned my phone back on fully. 62 missed calls. 47 texts. The last message read, "Please call me. We need to talk. This is insane." I set the phone down. Mark joined me on the back porch, wrapped a blanket around my shoulders, and listened as I told him everything. When I finished, he nodded once. "You did the right thing. What happens next?" I asked. "They'll show up. When they do," I said, "don't let them in." Done. Right on schedule. Call started again. A new number. Sharon. Declined. She called again. Declined. Then a text. "You're being childish. Fix this." Blocked. Minutes later, Kayla's number. I stared at it longer than I should have. Then declined. A text followed. "Please talk to Mom. She's freaking out." I set the phone face down and exhaled. For the first time since that dinner, I felt resolve. Not revenge. Not satisfaction. Resolve by noon. Reality was catching up to them. A professional voice called. "This is Denise from Horizon Property Services. We received a call from a woman claiming to be the homeowner. Our records list you as the sole owner." "That's correct," I said calmly. "She requested the locks be changed." "That won't be necessary," I replied. "In fact, I'd like to review my file." When I hung up, Mark raised an eyebrow. "She tried to change the locks?" "She tried." That evening, the messages shifted tone. Apologies, promises, regret, sudden and overflowing. One stood out. Brian left. He said it was too much drama. "Please come home." I stared at the screen, then typed my first response. "You told me to get out." I listened. Her reply came instantly. "I didn't mean it like that." I didn't argue. And she tried the angle she knew would hurt. "What about Kayla? You're just going to abandon her." That one hit. But I typed anyway. "I raised her for 8 years. She told me to get out in front of everyone. She made her choice." Silence. A few days later, my phone rang at work. "This is Mr. Collins with State Family Services. A report about a minor in distress. Kayla, the nuclear option. When apologies fail, some people reach for institutions." I stayed calm. "I'm not her legal guardian. Her biological father is." Pause. "And the housing? I own the property. Sole owner. Lawful eviction filed. Another pause. Understood. When the call ended, my hands were steady. I texted Laura one line. Calling social services won't make me come back. Her reply. I didn't call them. My mom did. That explained everything. She showed up at my workplace next. Security escorted her out. Crying. Loud. Performative. I felt nothing. That night, her social media post went up. Victim narrative. Selective truth. Until her cousin replied. Maybe tell them how you shoved him and replaced him with your ex at Christmas dinner. Dozens of likes. The story unraveled without me saying a word that I moved into a small apartment. One bedroom. Quiet. Mine. No tension in the walls. I slept better. Months later, I saw Laura in a hardware store. She looked smaller. Tired. She froze when she saw me. I didn't stop. Later that day, a text came through. I saw you today. You look happy. I am sorry. I replied with one word. Thanks. That was the end. Some lines don't uncross. Some chairs, once taken, don't get returned. They thought they were putting me in my place. Instead, they pushed me into my own life. If this story hit close to home, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. What would you have done in my place? And remember, boundaries aren't threats. They're requirements. I'll see you in the next story.